Hi, I'm Bright English, forward name Hyperbytes, and welcome to third module in this OneSignal series. Fairly straightforward on this. We're just going to create some environment variables and set their values so that we can interface with the various modules. So just going to go into our workflows, settings, environment. I've pre-typed them in just to save you watching me type slowly. There's two mandatory keys that need to be in there and one optional. You've got the OneSignal REST API key, which is the key that's used for most of the calls within these modules. For some reason, I think 3 or 4 of the calls don't use the REST API key but use an auth key. So that needs to be coded in as well. Obviously, we need these to be environment variables for key security as per best practice. And optionally, you can add the OneSignal app ID variable, which allows you to easily input the app ID of the app that you're using when you're developing your application. Don't forget that obviously these are target specific, so you'll need to add them to your development target if you're working in development, production if you're working in production, or indeed both. Where do we find these keys? Because one of them is easy, one of them is a bit difficult to find, so let's have a look. First of all, I'm going to use this app here for development, and it's fairly straightforward. If you go down here, you'll see keys and IDs, and you can see your REST API key here, and you can copy that just simply by clicking on the copy icon. That's straightforward. Having copied that, then obviously you're going to put that into the OneSignal REST API key value. Auth key is a little bit more complicated. What you've actually got to do is go down. You'll see down here an icon to indicate your account. If you click on that, you'll see account and API keys. Scroll down and you'll see user auth key. Now that's not a copyable key, it's a one-off generation, which means that you've got to click on generate a new auth key. Yes, generate one. This takes 5-10 seconds thereabouts to be able to produce your new user auth key. But once you do, you have a one-off opportunity to be able to copy that key. So there we are, we have the key, and click on copy user auth key. Then what I will be doing obviously is going back into OneSignal setup, and you'll be clicking that into your environment key there. Lastly, let's have a look at the application ID. So we go into our apps again. I'm using this OneSignal V2. This is your app ID, and this is unique to that particular app that you have defined here. So that is copyable into your environment variables. Why do I do that? Well, quite simply because it makes managing this a lot easier. So I'll be in our environment, I'll be pasting that in there and saving it. What I do now, just again, this is not mandatory, this is for convenience. If I click in the globals, I can then define OneSignal app ID within the picker. Save that. That means now if I want to select that value, I can do that directly. If I give you just a little example here, I'll close that globals. I'm going to create a simple API action. I'm going to go down to notification modules. I'll just randomly pick one. That's the first one on the list, so we'll use that one. If most of them will ask for the application ID, we can now just select that simply by selecting it directly from the picker. So it just makes life easier, but also if you actually omit the application ID in that input, because they are not mandatory, it will automatically default to that defined application ID. So you have a fallback on that on each occasion. So that's it, folks. That's all you need to do for the environmental setup. In the next module, we'll be subscribing to our new website, and we will be sending our first push message. So I hope to see you then.